My name's Troy. I was a Marine, United States Marine. I served from 1989 to 1993. I was stationed in 29 Palms, California for most of my time, but traveled quite often in that time period. It really took me a long time to feel like I'd had any other successes outside the Marines. No matter what I did, it was never good enough. I always dealt with like a little bit of anxiety, but I didn't know what it was. I just, little things like everything always had to be perfect, and if it wasn't, I got really upset. My wife and I had a, talk, and we decided we'd mention it to the doctor that I got really upset about little things, and so that's when we first started, dealing with seeing a psychiatrist on a monthly or probably a monthly basis. I've never looked back on those times as anything more than, my wife wanted me to act better. I got some medicine. I must be acting better. She's not complaining. I just want to show up here and spend the least amount of time that I can with the psychiatrist and move on. It just spiraled badly in 2011. I had the business. The economy was terrible. When I started the business, I used a home equity loan and all my credit cards to keep myself afloat. But all of a sudden, all my credit cards went up to 30%. My home equity fell out of my house because of the housing crash. The bank wanted all their money. Sometime in 2011, I couldn't make it happen anymore. I remember calling my doctor. I was driving down the road, and I'm in the construction industry, remember. I'm driving a pickup truck. I got my hard hat next to me, and I'm bawling my eyes out. So it was, something's not right here. So we worked through it. I ended up spending a significant amount of time inside the inpatient mental health unit. You're in there 2 weeks, you can't wait to get out. You finally get out, and all of a sudden, initially, you're full of like, I can handle everything, everything's gonna be great, because I've learned this, this, and this, and then you get out in the world, and the first time something went wrong, all of a sudden I lost all my confidence again, and I ended up back in there. I don't know if I started feeling like that was my comfortable place, like I can hide in here, I don't have to face the world. So then I got out of that again, and after that I think it's a 30-day program, which was a intensive outpatient program. Not long after that, I was sitting around the house bored because I basically, I turned my company over to somebody when this whole cycle started, and that person kind of ran it. So we lost the company, and I was sitting at home one day, and I just decided that I'd take all my sleeping pills instead of. So then I ended up back in the hospital again. But that time, I had a great doctor who basically came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm sick of seeing you here. You got to get your act together." And somehow that resonated, and I did. So I started, figuring out a way to. The therapy started making a little bit more sense, and I just developed a couple things that helped me cope. There's no way to just sit there and say, there's nothing wrong with me. You're going to have to look at it and say that I want to get better, and you're going to have to want to get better. But I think we've done a great job as a culture, I guess, in the last 10 or 15 years to really have worked hard at taking that stigma away and make it a little bit more acceptable.